Okay, good morning. So this is the Mighty Eagles online tuitions. So in today's presentation, we'll be looking at the periodic table. So now under this periodic table, there are some things that we need to look at before we venture into the past papers aspects. Okay, we need to know what exactly the periodic table is. We need to know how elements are arranged there. We need to know the difference between the metals and also the non-metals, on how they lose or gain electrons. You need to know the properties of the noble gases, the properties of these metals. You need to know the properties of the non-metals, the main distinguishing factor which is there between the metal and also the non-metal. Okay, so the periodic table consists of two stuffs. Okay, so the periodic table consists of two major stuffs, which is the groups and also the periods. Okay, which is the groups and also the periods. Okay, so now what is a group? Okay, what is a group and also what is a period? Those are the things that we need to look at. Okay, so now a group, this is a group, this is a vertical arrangement of the elements. So all those on the periodic table, the sodium, calcium, oxygen, all those metals or non-metals, we call them the elements. Okay, so when those elements they combine, now they form what we call a compound. Okay, they form what we call a compound, but we are not looking at compounds for now. Okay, so now all those elements on the periodic table, all those metals and non-metals, the gases, we call them the elements on the periodic table. Okay, so now what is a group? A group, this is just the vertical arrangement of the elements on the periodic table. Okay, this is the vertical arrangement of elements on the periodic table. So now what is this periodic table? A periodic table, this is a chart. Okay, a periodic table is a chart that is showing the elements that are arranged according to their atomic number. Okay, by definition, the periodic table, this is a chart that shows the elements that are arranged according to their increasing atomic numbers. Okay, so that's the definition of the periodic table. Okay, so now let's talk about the groups now. So under this periodic table, there are about group 1 and also group 2. We also have the group 3 or 4. Okay, we also have the group 7. We also have the group 8. Okay, so now these are the common groups that are found on the periodic table. Okay, those are the common groups that are found on the periodic table. Let's start with the group 1 elements. Okay, so the group 1 elements, they have a special name given to them. Okay, the group 1 elements, they have a special name which is given to them. Okay, so all the group 1 elements, we call them the alkali metals. Okay, that's where you find sodium, francium, and should be potassium. Okay, all the group 1 elements, they are called the alkali earth metals. Okay, so these alkali earth metals, they have one electron in their outermost shell. They have one electron in their outermost shell because they are in group 1, or vice versa. Or what I'm trying to elaborate here is this: why are the group 1 elements having one electron in their outermost shell? Because they are in group 1. They are in group 1 because they have one electron in their outermost shell. So though I'll teach you now, you come up with the electronic configuration, like for you to tell if at all this element is in group 1 or this element is in group 2. Okay, it's very simple. So this is just the preamble of the topic, but as you'll be venturing, as you'll be going into past papers, I'll be explaining a lot about this periodic table. Okay, so they have one electron in their outermost shell. That's the reason why they are in group 1. Okay, so these elements in group 1, they conduct heat and electricity. Okay, they conduct heat and electricity. Okay, so those are the properties. That's one of the properties of the group 1 elements. Another one of chemical property of these is that they react with the group 7 elements. Remember the group 7 elements, that's where you find oxygen. Okay, so they react with oxygen, okay, to form what? The basic oxides. Okay, they react with oxygen to form basic oxides. Okay, so remember oxygen is shown in group 7 of the periodic table. Okay, so they react with oxygen to form the basic oxides. Okay, So now let's talk about the reactivity series. So the reactivity series in group 1, the reactivity series increases as you go down the group. So meaning that from sodium there, from the top, the reactivity series there is going to be increasing as you be going down the group. Okay, meaning that the most reactive metal, the one which is at the bottom, should be francium, something like that. Okay, francium, yeah, it's francium. So the most reactive metal in group 1 is francium, because the reactivity series states that reactivity increases as you go down the group, meaning that the reactivity series there from the top, it's less compared to the reactivity series that is at the bottom there. Okay, let's talk about the group 2 elements. The group 2 elements, they are in group 2 because they have 2 electrons in their outermost shell. That's the reason why they are known as the group 2. That's the reason why they are in group 2, because they have 2 electrons in their outermost shell. Okay, so another physical property also, they conduct heat and electricity, such kind of stuff. Okay, so let's talk about the group 2 or group 3. These are the transition metals. Okay, these are the transition metals. So now these are metals where you find, that's where zinc 4Z, zinc, yeah, it should be zinc, iron, such kind of stuffs. Okay, let's talk about the group. So this is just the preamble. I'll be explaining more as we'll be venturing into the past papers. Okay, so this is just the preamble. I'll be venturing more, so you need to know this information before we start answering the questions. Okay, let's talk about the group 7. The group 7, these are halogens. Okay, so now these halogens, they are diatomic. Okay, I guess you know what diatomic, dia means 2. Okay, meaning that they contain 2 electrons, or I mean atoms. Okay, they contain 2 atoms there. Okay, because they're diatomic, and di means 2. Remember disaccharides, such kind of stuff in biology. Now disaccharides, they're atomic now. Okay, so now these are the atomic, they contain 2 atoms there. Okay, so these group 7 elements, they react with elements that are in group 1. Okay, they react with elements that are in group 1 of the periodic table to form a basic oxide. So a good example that we can try and give you, it's chlorine. When chlorine and sodium, they when chlorine and sodium, they combine, they form a salt. Okay, they form a salt. So the group 7, they have a special name known as the halogens, meaning they form salts. They are salt formers. Okay, they are salt formers, they form a salt. Okay, so they combine with the elements that are in group 1 to form a salt. A good example, sodium chloride. Sodium an element, and also chlorine an element. They combine, they form a salt. Okay, they form a salt. Let's talk about the group the properties now. So properties there, the properties is opposite from that of group 1. The reactivity series there increase as you go up the group, meaning that the most reactive metal there in group 7 is the one which is at the top. Okay, that's the one which is at the top. Okay, let's talk about the group 0. So the group 0, these are the elements that are in group 8. These elements that are in group 8, they have a special, we can call them the inert gases, the rare gases, or the noble gases. That's where you find argon, xanthone, such kind of stuff, and others. Okay, so those are the elements which are there. Okay, so that's all about the groups. Let's now try and talk about the periods. So the periods are arranged horizontally like this. Okay, so we have the period 1 where you find hydrogen, and also where you're going to find hydrogen and also helium. Yes, hydrogen and helium. Okay, we also have the period 2 where you're going to find 8 elements there. Those 8 elements, they have a special name, we call them the short periods. We also have the group 3, I mean the period 3, they also consist of 8 elements there. If you check the periodic table nicely. Okay, it also has 8 elements. Okay, the period 4, 5 contains about 3 elements. Okay, so that's it about the period, and also the groups about the periodic table. So you understand more as you be listening to some of the past papers, as you'll be solving some of the past papers, like you start from 2017 up to the 2023 GCE paper. So you understand more. So this was just a preamble, of the topic that I want to introduce today, known as the periodic table. So it's a very simple topic. It's very simple, but tricky if you don't really understand it. More especially whenever you are looking at the diatomic. Okay, so it's tricky more especially whenever you're looking at the diatomic, and also you need to know how you to formulate the formulas there. It's very much important. Provided that you don't know how to formulate the formula, it becomes very much detrimental, like for you to write the relative molecular mass, such kind of stuff. So it's very much important that you know how these stuffs are formulated. Okay, so that's it about the introduction today, this hour. Okay, so we'll look at the the past papers aspect now this evening. Okay, so thank you so very much. This is the Mighty Eagles online tuition. So please, if you've not yet liked or subscribe to my YouTube channel, please do so, so that YouTube can be able to notify you whenever I try and upload a new video. Thank you so very much. See you in the evenings.